Hi again, John Hauer here. In the early 90s, I saw the impact color could have. The digital printing industry was in its infancy. Affordable digital color became the hockey stick moment. The industry exploded, and companies like Shutterfly and Vistaprint became billion-dollar businesses. But it didn't happen overnight. In the late 80s and early 90s, Canon was the established leader in color. In 1987, they created the market for color copies when they introduced the CLC-1. 2 years later, Canon launched the CLC-500, which was the first color copier to also include a fiery interface, giving it network connectivity. By 1993, color copier sales topped 9,000 units in the USA. Over 60% were digitally connected. Color drove connectivity, and connectivity drove the use of color. Customers didn't want to make copies, they wanted to send files. At the time, Xerox was the established player in monochrome digital printing. Color gave Canon a foothold in important markets like print for pay. So in 1991, Xerox countered with the 5775. It also featured network connectivity and could print at a faster 7.5 full color copies per minute. Those machines weren't cheap, and compared to what you see today, the quality was awful. Blue looked like purple, flesh tones were way off, and metallics were out of the question. The speed was also pitiful. At the most, you might get 400 pages per hour. In those days, it wasn't uncommon for retail print shops to charge $2 or more per page for full color printing. Yet with all those disadvantages, the industry flourished. People wanted to have one or just a few of what they wanted, when and where they needed it. The industry mushroomed. In 1993, the global market for digital color was $4 billion. Just 3 years later, it became a $15 billion business. The big tipping point for 2D digital printing was affordable color. For a few years now, I've said I think the same will be true for 3D. Just take a look around. Of the mainstream products you have nearby, how many are single color? One of the big problems was the technology. There were only a few options for producing color, and none of them were ideal. Desktop-style FDM printers could obviously produce in the color of whatever filament was used. Colors could even be switched between layers to create a rainbow effect. But in practice, FDM was, and still is, very limiting. Another option was to add color after a product was printed. SLS typically offered better quality, and at volume, lower cost than FDM. The white nylon plastic used in these machines was also very receptive to dye. But the surface of each piece could only be dyed one color. Perhaps the bigger issue was wear and tear. Over time, the dye would simply rub off. Stratasys was moving towards full color with their Connex 3 machine. Based on PolyJet technology, they would allow you to print in some colors, but were limited. In most printing applications, at least 4 colors, cyan, magenta, yellow, and black, are needed to produce full color. As a result, the Connex could hit some colors, but never the entire spectrum. Perhaps the best way to produce full color was by printing with machines that were first introduced by Z-Corp. These devices allowed inkjet inks to be mixed and applied to a base material at the voxel level. The company was later acquired by 3D Systems, and the process was rebranded as ColorJet printing. There were some problems with this technology, though. The process was slow, and the quality of output was mediocre. But the bigger problem was that parts were just too brittle. Over the past few years, several new players have entered the 3D printing market. Some of them have their sights set on color. HP shocked the world when it announced it was entering the 3D printing market. At the time, HP spent more in R&D than the entire 3D printing industry was generating in revenue. Most people figured the machines would be disruptive. Over a year later, HP pulled the cover off of their new Fusion Jet 3D printers. Out of the gate, HP launched with devices that print only in black, but making color commercially available is high on the agenda. They're already printing full color in the lab. Maybe it was the threat of competition, or maybe it was already in the R&D pipeline, but Stratasys also recently announced a full color offering. The J750, also based on PolyJet technology, now allows for the printing of over 360,000 colors in multiple materials. Rise recently launched a 3D printer based on a hybrid of FDM and inkjet. Their system uses augmented polymer deposition, which enables them to bind plastic filament with functional inks. Right now, it allows them to add one color to a part. They plan to eventually offer full color and multi-material properties. Like HP, other companies from the 2D printing industry are entering the 3D print market. Names like Canon, Ricoh, and Konica Minolta come immediately to mind. Each of them has a large R&D budget and knows how to manufacture at scale. They all directly benefited from digital printing's hockey stick moment. They know that color changes everything. In 2015, Mamaki announced it would enter the 3D printer business and began developing its own full-color 3D printer. The company is now in the commercialization phase of their product. If you're familiar with Mamaki, it's likely you spent some time in the printing industry. The company offers a complete line of large format 2D digital printers and provides a turnkey solution for many of the killer applications found in the signage and textile printing markets. With all their experience in that business, Mamaki knows a thing or two about color. Now Mamaki is applying what they learned from 2D printing. Consider the benefits their new 3D printer will offer. Color is everywhere, and it's not by accident. There's a lot of science behind it. Color gets attention, it gets retention, and it sells. It also helps inform, educate, and keep us safe. In the consumer space, one of the early killer applications was the 3D printed selfie. Another was the fidget spinner. Originally designed for kids with attention deficit disorders, they've now gone mainstream, becoming one of the hottest selling toys of the year. Many of them have been 3D printed, but as they've become more popular, traditional manufacturers have also gotten in on the act. Speed to market is a key advantage for digital manufacturing. It takes mass manufacturing months to get products on store shelves, but with 3D printing, products can reach the market much more quickly. For example, the day after Katy Perry's famous Left Shark flopped around on the stage at the Super Bowl, full-color 3D printed figurines were available on sites like Etsy. It was a great example of marketing in the moment. 3D printing makes it possible with products. In industrial cases, color plays a more utilitarian role, whether it's just for identification, or color is used to assist with installation, maintenance, and repair. It's obviously beneficial. Just look at the wiring in your car or in your computer. There's a reason for so many different colors. Prototyping and modeling have been good markets so far, but 3D printing's real money is in production. The sooner that 3D printing equipment can print quality color, quickly, and at a reasonable cost, the sooner the industry can more effectively compete with mass production. Companies who understand the big opportunity of color in 3D printing and empower their users to benefit from it will have a significant competitive advantage, because color changes everything. For more on the big opportunity for color in 3D printing, we suggest you check out our article on the topic. A link is provided in the description. At Get 3D Smart, we help companies identify and capitalize on big opportunities in 3D printing. Have other questions or just want to learn more? Visit get3dsmart.com today.